Confirm me if you can see my screen, the screen
Yes,
in the presentation mode.
yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. So today we are going with the open book essays presentation on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, the entire chapter. Om Ajnana-तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वया रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण। Welcome to all the devotees, and thank you, Hit Prabhu, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you to Namanishta Prabhuji. So these are the questions that we have today, and the presenters who will be presenting. I'll request Anuradha Mataji to please unmute yourself and begin with your first part.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I pay my humble obeisances to Shri Shri Radha Krishna Govinda Manglur, Srila Prabhupada, Namanishtadas Prabhuji, Prabhuji, and all the devotees present here. So the topic given to me is devotees who are correctly situated in a transcendental relationship with Krishna are attracted by loving features, not by a goddess display of opulences. This is from Pocket 11.8, and the shloka is नातो मां साक्ष्यसे द्रष्टुम् अनैननेव स्वचक्षुषा दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षु पश्य मे योगम ऐश्वर्यम्. So your Lord Krishna, he tells Arjuna that you will not be able to see me with your present eyes. So I am giving you the divine eyes by which you can hold my mystic opulences. Now here, whenever the Supreme Lord, he descends in this world, he has two kinds of forms. One is the material form, which everyone can see with the material eyes. And the other one is the divine one, which can be seen only with the divine vision. Divine vision is not possible to be seen with the material eyes. That is the reason why Sri Krishna in this material world, sorry, one second, divine form is not visible to the material eyes. That is the reason why in the material world we cannot recognize God when he takes an avatara. In the previous two verses, Lord Krishna asked Arjuna to see his cosmic form, but Arjuna could see nothing because he had material eyes. The physical eyes are insufficient to see the universal form. Thus, Krishna now grants the divine vision to Arjuna. Pure devotees, they never want to see Krishna, to see his opulences. Virat Rupa form is of no interest for a pure devotee. Krishna has amazing qualities, and a pure devotee loves the Lord because of his qualities and not his power. This, this cosmic form was just a display of power. For example, I can say a child will tell his mother, I want to show you my power. But the mother says, no, beta, no, I don't need to see your power. I like you the way you are. So it is like that. So devotee would like to see Krishna as it is with his two-handed form. Then Virat Rupa has no personality, and it is he just and it's just a form of Lord Krishna. For the general public, Arjuna wanted them to know that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That is why he told Krishna to show his Virat Sarupa. Now another example of this is like Krishna wanting Arjuna wanted Lord Krishna to show his Virat Sarupa because in an award function, the parents are very happy when a child gets an award. Likewise, here Arjuna also wanted people to know that personally he is not interested in seeing the Virat Sarupa. It is just for everyone to know what Krishna was. Now, Srila Prabhupada, he says here, how one can see? If we see the material sky, we are unable to see what is there. Not even the stars are present. Though we know that there are millions of stars in the sky, We are not able to see a single star during the daytime. This is the power of seeing. So how could Arjuna see millions of universes in the body of Lord Krishna without he getting a special power? This was Krishna's power. To see the universal form, Arjuna is told not to change his mind, but he needs to change his vision. Another example quoted by Srila Prabhupada here is an airplane is floating in the air, which makes so much sound, and millions of planets are floating. There is no sound. Without devotion and love, we cannot see Lord Krishna. The reasons why we cannot see is there are four main reasons. There are four defects in human being, as can be seen in the picture. The first defect in a human being is his senses are imperfect, they are defective. Whatever we see may not be true. In the first picture where you can see it's an apple, this apple is actually water cut and placed in front of the mirror. But when we see its reflection in the mirror, we can see it has a full apple. So that is why it is called imperfect senses. This is a phenomenal type reflection. Though the apple is cut, what we see on the other hand is a full apple. So that is why we say that human being senses are defective, and these are called reflective senses. The second reason is we are illusion. As you can see in this picture, whatever we see may not be true. If we observe very intently, we can see different figures in the same picture. We are body and not soul. This is also an illusion for us. Another example is mirage in a desert. It is also an illusion. There is no water in a desert, but we feel that water is there. The third reason why we say is we commit mistakes. So to err is human. No human beings are perfect, and all of us are bound to commit mistakes. And the fourth reason is the cheating propensity. Somewhere or the other, each one of us would have uttered a lie. No one is honest in this world. At least an inevitable lie, each one would have spoken throughout their lifetime. We have all these properties, so we cannot see divine things. Again, I am showing here a microscope and a telescope. There are many organisms. We cannot see all of them, but they still exist. Example, now we are seeing this corona is existing from past almost 3 years. We are not able to see corona, but we know that there are so many deaths happening because of corona. Has anyone seen corona? No. However, we can see them with the microscope. These organisms can be seen with a microscope. The same way we can see distant objects with our eyes. We cannot see distant objects with our eyes. For example, now, if there is a power cut in the house, immediately we feel, we see that it is so dark. We are not able to see our own hands and feet. But after a few seconds, we can see that there is a twilight vision. And dim light vision is also there after some time. Hence, we need a telescope to see far off objects and small organisms through a microscope. Then here we can see this man seeing the universal form. So it is not possible to see the universal form with our material eyes. We have to see, like when we go to a theater, sometimes the movies we have to see with a special 3D or 2D glass. As we cannot appreciate the in-depth images, the same way whatever is divine, spiritual, we cannot see with the normal eyes. And hence Lord Krishna gives Arjuna divine eyes to see his cosmic form. See, lastly, to conclude, a devotee is never concerned with the Virat Swarupa or the universal form, but Arjuna just wanted to substantiate Krishna's statements. So he said that people should understand that he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and hence Lord Krishna not only theoretically presented himself as supreme, but actually revealed himself as the supreme. Lastly, I just conclude is what does this divine vision mean for us? An example to quote: let us consider a person from India. He is deeply attached to his own state. And we have learned this repeatedly from Bhagavad Gita, that any sort of attachment is a recipe for creating never-ending sorrows for us. What a technique should be used for such a person? What should we do to this person? So we should ask that person to get a map of India and look at his own state's border. Then mentally erase this border as well as the other state borders. Then what is it left with? Can someone tell me what will the person see if all the borders are erased? So he will only see the border of India, and there would be no other divisions. All conflicts regarding one state versus another would seem meaningless. It does not mean that the sense of attachment has gone away. It is still very difficult to achieve. Similarly, Lord Krishna, tells all of us to view the world with a vision that everything is in Krishna, in Ishvara, and see that ultimately Lord Krishna is in everything and everything is in Lord Krishna. So I just conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Shri Priya Mataji. Let's go.
Krishna, everyone. First of all, I would like to apologize since I'm traveling. I won't be able to put my video on. I'm traveling from Patiala to Gurgaon, so I'm in a cab on roads and pay. And there can be a network connectivity issue also at the same time, so I apologize for the same. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to all devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. My sincere obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, Sri Jayapataka Swami, and Sri Namanishta Das Prabhuji for giving me this opportunity to present my views on Bhagavad Gita chapter 11. Hare Krishna. My question is, discuss your experiences of becoming Krishna's instrument with reference to BG 11.33-34 verse and purpose, and summarize principles derived from 11.32 to 36 verses and purpose regarding the plan of the Supreme Lord, and discuss the relevance of these principles for your own life as well as humanity in general. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kalosmi Lokakshayat Krit Pratvadholokan Samahvitumiha Pravrattah Ritepi Tvam na Bhavishyanti Sarvaye Vastita Pratyanikeshu Yodha. Here, Lord Sri Krishna in the shloka number 32, 11.32, Sri Krishna reveals his nature as all-powerful time, the destroyer of the universe. Kalosmi. This word is very important. The word Kal is derived from Kalyati, which is synonymous with Gananeti, meaning to take count of. All events in nature, they get buried in time. For example, when Oppenheimer, who was a part of the first atom bomb project, he witnessed the destruction of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he quoted this verse of Sri Krishna in the following manner. Time, I am the destroyer of all the worlds. Time counts and controls the lifespan of life, all beings. So here, what Sri Krishna is trying to say is time is destruction, and all the manifestations, they are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the law of the nature. Now we'll see that what in shloka here, Sri Krishna in 11.32 establishes that is time and all origin and destruction are in his hands. Now we see the shloka 33. Tasmatva muttishtaha yasho labhasva jitva shatru bhungashva rajyam samraddham Maya vaite nihata purvamev nimitta matram bhav savyasachin. Here in this shloka, the word nimitta matram is extremely important for all the jivs or jivatmas to imbibe in the life and to understand the meaning of that word. It means that Sri Krishna wishes us to be the nimitta matram or the instrument of his work. God does not need the help of a human being for his work. But humans, they attain eternal welfare by working to fulfill God's wish. Opportunities that come our way to accomplish something for the pleasure of the Lord are a very special blessing. It is by taking these opportunities that we attract his special grace and achieve our permanent position as the servant of the God. So here in my experience, my journey of spiritual journey of, I would say, Bhagavad Gita, which has started when during the COVID times, when I got associated somehow, I received a message and then I logged in and joined Bhagavad Gita 18-day course. Then from level 1, I switched to level 2 to level 3. And by God's grace, now again I have a goal and a mission to work more hard, strive more hard, know more about Lord Krishna, and look forward to a Bhakti Shastri degree course. So here what I'm trying to say is, it is not me who has decided this. I am only a nimitta matram. This plan of action was already decided by Sri Lord Krishna. We, all the devotees who are attending this class, are the chosen ones. He has chosen us to perform this duty of becoming preachers, of spreading the Krishna consciousness all over the globe by joining this chain of eternity of Krishna consciousness, which has been started by Srila Prabhupada. So by joining ISKCON, we have become a part of the chain. So here what happens is, I would like to quote this example, like for all of us also. This is very relevant, as opportunities that come our way to accomplish something for the pleasure of the Lord are a very special blessing. So what we should do is, we should take up this opportunity. We all have two choices, either to serve Shri Krishna or to serve the Maya. That is Prakriti. So I choose to serve Shri Krishna so that Maya does not bother me. Then let us try and understand that in spiritual life too, aspirants often become discouraged when they find themselves incapable of removing the defects of anger, greed, envy, lust, pride, etc. So then their guru encourages them to not be dejected, fight. You will conquer the enemies of your mind because God wants you to succeed. Your effort will be instrumental while God will fashion your victory by his grace. I strongly believe in this statement because when I started my journey, now when I'm planning to go from level 3 to level 4, there are many issues, or there are many realistic worldly problems, like how will I squeeze more time out, because what I have heard or got a feedback that Bhakti Shastri will require more requirements. You have to be more prompt in presentations. There'll be more grilling, I would say, in a general term, so that I become a better preacher, learn how to spread Krishna consciousness in the correct and the right manner and serve the Lord. But even despite that, when I speak to Het Prabhuji or NNDB Prabhuji or listen to what they say, it encourages me that somehow there will be a way which could be made. And come what may, I should give it a try, because if God has decided for me something, then I am only a puppet in his hands. So I am only a nimit matram. What will happen will happen. But let me give it a try. Let me fight for it and let me do it. So it is also written in the Vedas that the supreme truth destroys everything, and time is destruction, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the law of the nature. So we should become an instrument, nimit matram, because this word is very significant. Here Krishna is speaking a very wonderful shloka for the implementation in our day-to-day life also. He is telling us to use all our skills to execute his instructions, become the instrument in his hand. This is what he's trying to propagate through telling it to Arjuna, that you should do it in that fashion. He is telling Arjuna, but indirectly it is a message which is there for the whole world to follow. Now let us try and understand what is an instrument.
Mataji, please conclude.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Over time.
Okay, Prabhuji. So the final verdict is that everything that is done by Krishna or whatever he plans is fit, apt, perfect, and always correct. The plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are understood only by his mercy, and the plans of the devotees are as good as his plans. So one should always follow such plans and be victorious in the struggle for existence. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Pramod Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Pramod Prabhu, are you there?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, okay.
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 Please go ahead, Pramod
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Yeah, please go
Just
ahead, Pramod Prabhu.
Hare
Please
Krishna.
keep it to 5 minutes. Yes.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everybody. My question is, discuss at least 3 points of philosophical significance from Arjuna's prayers with reference to BG 11.35 to 46 verses and purport. The 3 points of philosophical significance considered are principle of Achita Bheda Abheda, supreme personality of Godhead, source of all forms. Next, please. In the first, I will be covering the shlokas 11.36, 37, 38. Sthane Rishikesh Prakirtya Jagat Prashat Anarajyate Cha Rakshami Bhitani Dishto Vidyavanti Sarve Namasyanti Cha Siddha Sangha Kasma Cha Tena Namerena Mahatman Gariyase Brahmano Apya Adi Karte Ananta Devesh Jagan Nivasa Tum Akshar Asat Tat Param Yat Tamo Adi Deva Purusha Pranas तमस्य विश्वस परम निधानम वेतांत देव्यम च परम च धाम त्वया तत् विश्वम अनंत रूपा. After hearing from Krishna the outcome of battlefield, Arjuna recognizes Krishna's actions as all good for everyone. Krishna is worshipped by great souls and demons are afraid and flee away. Krishna rightly deserves the obeisance of everyone because he is the God of all gods, the original creator, invincible source of all and cause of all causes, transcendental to material manifestations, knower of everything in this world, object of all knowledge as he is all pervading. Arjuna described him with these words, Aksharam, Mahatma, Ananta, Devasa, Nidhanam. He is original creator, even greater than Lord Brahma, the imperishable reality beyond both cause and effect. Everything is the effect of or result of his potency. As per these verses, the jivas are eternal, conscious and unlimited in number, but Parabrahma is the one and only supreme eternal and supreme conscious being. Subsequently, the final conclusion of Vedas is the principle of Achita Bheda Veda. The Supreme Lord is unconceivable and simultaneous oneness and difference from the various potencies. This is the purest of all philosophical conclusions. Next, shlokas 11.39 and 443, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vayur Yamo Agnir Varuna Shashanka Prajapatistvam Prapitamahascha Namo Namaste Astu Sahasra Tattva Punascha Bhuyo Api Namo Namaste Pitase Lokase Characharasya Tamasya Pujasya Cha Gurur Gariyan Na Tam Samo Aste Abhyadrik Kuto Anyo Lok Trayapam Apratim Prabhava. Although the human-like form was present before Arjuna, while Arjuna beheld the universal form, but it was covered by Yogamaya. Therefore, Arjuna was unable to see him, and he requested him to show him his four-armed Narayana form, as he was afraid and joyful simultaneously. Godhead and his ability to show the universal form proves that Krishna can assume any form, as after universal form, he is asked here to show his Narayana four-handed form. Universal form is temporary, but Narayana form is transcendental and eternal. Different Narayanas are named according to different configuration of four hands of Krishna. This first Arjuna requested to see the four-handed form. Subsequently, Arjuna asked his two-handed Sham Sundara form. This confirms that Krishna is the source of all forms. Next, please. Third one is Shloka 11.4546. Adyashta Purva Harishto Asmi Dashtva Bhaina Cha Pravarthitam Mano Me Tad Ev Me Dashya Dev Rupam Prasira Deve Jagan Nivasa Kiritam Gadim Chakra Hastam इच्छामि त्वां द्रष्टुम् अहं तथैव तेनेव रूपेण चतुर्भुजेन सहस्रबाहो भव विश्वमूर्ते. He is the essence of everything. He is all pervasive air. He is fire, water, moon. He is Brahma, Pitamaha, and Parabrahma because he is the father of Brahma. He is the supreme controller. He is the supreme father, supreme spiritual master, and he is the greatest. References for Lord Supreme Greatness in this described in various scriptures. No difference between the Krishna body and self. Shwet Svatara Upanishad 6.8. Senses are interchangeable. Bhagavad Gita 9.26. Birth and activities are transcendental. Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Krishna
Prabhuji,
is one.
you may tell and conclude. No.
Yes, 1 minute. Krishna is one God. All living entities are his servants. No one can deny his order. Cause of all causes. Brahma Samhita 5.1. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So my question is on the significance of Arjuna's referring to Krishna as Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava. So this is the question that this is the one thing that Arjuna says, tells Krishna that Sakheti Matva Prasabam Yaduktam Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Sakheti Ajanata Mahiman Tavedam Maya Pramadat Pranamaya. So here what he says is, I have many times I have called you, I have addressed you as Krishna, O Yadava, or just as a friend. And although he knows, without knowing that all these opulences of Sri Krishna, and then in the next verse he asks for excusing him for doing that. So what happened now? What understanding an analogy here? How do we address versus what are the, how do we excuse? Now, whom and how do we address someone in respect? How do we address anyone? And whereas how do we address someone who is a junior or maybe a friend of ours? So maybe someone with respect, we call them as Mr., Mrs., Sir, Madam, and all, or your Highness, something like that. However, when it is a friend, we call them just as a friend, we call them with their real name or maybe the actual or the nickname. The same way, the actual name of Krishna is, that is how we called him. He used to call him, Hey Krishna, Hey Adava. So he says that I did not know about. So although Krishna is manifested before Arjuna in his universal form, Arjuna remembers his friendly relationship with Krishna, and therefore is asking for pardon, to requesting Krishna to excuse him from many informal gestures which arise from his friendship. Now, what are the ways of excusing? So how is he asking him to excuse him? He says, I have dishonored you many times, but still, please excuse me. Excuse me, just as the way how this is how Krishna would excuse Arjuna here, just as and that's a relationship between a parent and a child, or maybe a friend, or the siblings. How we know that we are anyways, we are one. So it is all with love. So similarly, it is said that he played with Arjuna as a friend. So such in the transcendental loving reciprocation between the devotee and the Lord. So the relationship between a living entity and Krishna is fixed eternally. It cannot be forgotten, and we can see from the behavior of Arjuna. Although Arjuna has seen the opulence of universal form, he cannot forget his friendly relationship with Krishna. Hare Krishna. Chandrasekhar Prabhu, you can go ahead. You can conclude.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. I have to present verses from chapter 11, 46 to 55. And the first, there are two parts to this. First one is presenting evidence to establish Krishna in his 200 form as being the original form of God. Next slide, please. So this is the evidence that the two-hand form is the original form of God. Sanjay Vacha iti Arjunam Vasudevas Tathoktva Swakam Rupam Darshayami Asa Bhuya Ashwavasyam Asa Cha Bhitam Enam Bhutva Punah Saumya Vapur Mahatma. This is the verse 11.50. It actually highlights the fact that Krishna is actually saying the importance, the fact that his 200 form is actually a very confidential form. The same thing Krishna has also elsewhere said, Mat Paratram Nanyat, meaning there is nothing superior to my form as a personality of Godhead Krishna. We also know, all of us have heard the story of the Radharaman temple earlier in this month, and we know that the Damodar Shila that was being prayed to, worshipped, it actually changed into a two-handed form of Krishna. That also reflected again the fact that Krishna is a true form is the two-handed form. Of course, as this picture denotes, the Krishna has many other forms, and not just the universal form and the spiritual form of 400 form which Arjuna saw, but there are multiple other forms as described in Brahm Samhita, and as many of us have learned in Bhagavad Gita and elsewhere. So all this actually indicates how that Krishna has a 200 form, and from that 200 form, which is confidential, many other forms actually emanate, and Krishna transforms or creates many such images. And this is also depicted in the story of Vrindavan, where actually the Govardhan Hill story, where Indra did not recognize that Krishna was born in Vrindavan, and poured so much rain there. And obviously, if Indra knew that Krishna was born there, he would not have done that, right? So again, because Indra was not familiar with the 200 form or the fact that Krishna was born there, that shows how confidential is the form. The second portion of this presentation is about various examples which will help us in performing devotional service for enhancing Krishna consciousness, basically performing Krishna karma. The verse 55 actually says, Mat karma krin mat parmo mad bhakta sangha varjita nirvaira sarva bhutesu yasa mam eti pandava. And so I have tried to, and there are many examples that you can find for Krishna karma, and many of you are familiar, but I've just tried to summarize some of these and highlight some unique contributions that devotees have made. So the ISKCON Bangalore, a very beautiful temple. The architect was Sri Jagat Chandra, a devotee who was skilled in as an architect and product engineer from IIT Mumbai. And he did not charge anything for design of this temple and execution of this temple. Similarly, many of you have skills that that can contribute to the Mangalore temple and building it out. The second service which all of us are
Chandrasekhar Prabhuji, you may tell it in short and conclude.
Sure. And then we have building a Krishna temple, Mayapur Gundika Marjana temple cleaning, growing flowers, fruits, vegetables, or tulsi on your land for the temple. In Delhi, a shopkeeper who actually sells mobile accessories has dedicated his shop to ISKCON. So there are many ways that you can provide service, and that will help in enhancing Krishna consciousness. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, and that concludes the presentation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, presentation was overall very nice. Just one thing I
Yes,
wanted to mention, Chandrasekhar Prabhuji, the Gundicha Marjan happened in the Jagannath Puri temple.
तेरा कैसा है?
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, so just you can correct that part. Yes, and the presentation was all fine. Everyone had explained it, especially time was taken a little nicely. Yes, so yes. Yes, so before I ask the question, there is one curious devotee who wants an answer for one of his doubts. So you may ask Mataji. Mataji is not unmuted.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, the question is, okay, the question is, okay,
Hare
who's
Krishna, Shri Lakshmi Mataji.
Wait. Don't. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
okay, anyways, the question was quite genuine here. Who did that Saketi? Okay, Ashwin Prabhu, right? Okay. Okay, hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Saketi. Okay, so why Arjuna is apologizing him? Because he's in the Sakya Bhav only, right? He is Saketi only. Why Arjuna is he's asking a question like, hey, I'm apologizing him. Why is it?
He's asking because he realizes that that he shouldn't have he doesn't have that kind of opulences that what Krishna has. And
that he knows, huh? He said last chapter he concludes Param Brahma, Param Dhamma. So what is the significant thing why Arjuna apologizes him, and then what can I learn from that specific situation over there? Any answer?
I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Any last answers?
It's a good question.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hetu Prabhu. Who's
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Someone. Yes.
Mataji, can I try this question?
Yes. Come on. Mataji. Yes. Do it.
Since God is highest, actually Krishna, he considered him to is always highest and ultimate personality that exists. However, what we see is when love swells immensely, it automatically makes lover forget the formal position of the beloved. So thus in the extreme love for Sri Krishna, Arjuna had shared many intimate, memorable moments of him, blissfully, obviously of his supreme position. But then when he saw this universal form of God, he understood that Sri Krishna is not merely his friend,
Hmm.
but he's the supreme personality of Godhead. So that's why he was saying Saketi, as well as he is asking for forgiveness and he's rendering that to him.
Hmm. Nit Prabhu, ultimately you conclude.
So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi sunicena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sada hari. So here Arjuna is trying to, like, from this thing we can even understand the mood of, you know, humbleness that was shown by Arjuna, and also repentance. Though he being one of the greatest devotees of Lord, and so he does not have to do this, but as a part of the pastime, to show the people general in the public. So therefore he tries to do this by his own example.
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Thank you. And yeah, we all are devotees, but sometimes we get puffed up because, you know, I chanted today many rounds, or I'm chanting from 20 years, 30 years. So I'm a great devotee, or I'm a very senior devotee, because people call you senior devotee and you think yourself as a senior devotee, and you are puffed up and you think Krishna is very pleased from you. But here Arjuna, such a pure devotee, associate of the Lord himself, and such a pure devotee, he's in such a state that he's associate of the Lord, but then still he's asking for forgiveness here, because that's the state of humbleness, as Het Prabhu told. That's a state of humbleness, and thinking that uh, even a small offense, small thing, I should not do towards the Lord. That should be the mindset of the devotee, that we can learn from Arjuna, that even while you are preparing bhoga to the Lord, I should think in a specific mode that, oh Lord, I don't know to cook, but then by your mercy, I'm actually having this knowledge of cooking, and if there is any mistake, please pardon me. Although you know cooking, in the sense you know how to cook, but then you are asking pardon to the Lord, asking sorry to the Lord, asking for forgiveness from the Lord is most important here, because
One
yes.
point I want to mention is that, in fact, when we try to, before we start cooking, we even remember Srimati Radharani. Srimati
Yes.
Radharani, like, she is such a great cook of Lord Krishna, and that she does not prepare, means one dish she prepares, she never prepares it again for Lord. Every time new dishes. Imagine.
Yeah, and yeah, it's said that no one can cook for Krishna. No one, not even Yashoda Maya cooks for Krishna. Radharani only cooks for Krishna. Actually, I was reading a book, Vrajamandal Parikrama. So in that it is written, the Ashtakaliya Leela, where Yashoda Maya calls Radharani for cooking. Every day Radharani comes to Gokul, not Gokul, Vrindavan from Barsana to cook for Krishna in the morning. So Yashoda Maya also has no duty in cooking, only Radharani has to cook. So we must ask her mercy to cook. And Srila Prabhupada, because we all are disciples of Srila Prabhupada, then we must ask from Srila Prabhupada, because he is in the mood of serving the Lord. So even a small mistake, we must not ignore it. Are chalta hai is not going to be good here. So that is not good here. Okay. So and this should be, because they are already in Sakya Bhav. Krishna and Arjuna are in the Sakya Bhav, but then the humbleness of Arjuna is highlighted over here. Okay.
But this is the first time we have heard that a person who asks doubts knows the answer. Isn't it so?
Yeah,
Yes,
because you
Prabhu.
clarified it, Prabhu. Then I got the answer.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Het Prabhu.
Mataji, for you contributing your doubt.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for giving opportunity.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, okay. Yes. So now my questions to the now one question which I have, it's a general question. Maybe Pramod Prabhuji, Chandrasekhar Prabhuji, their topic was related to that, but anyone could answer. Okay. The question is, for universal form, Arjuna required Divya Chakshu, like he required divine eyes. But the two-handed form of the Lord, that was of Lord Krishna, he could see with his own eyes. So how could you say two-handed form of the Lord is more confidential than the universal form?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, may I?
And Shri Hari Priya Mataji, you complete. Somebody else has to answer now.
Okay, Mother.
Prabhuji,
Huh.
Prabhuji, this is just an attempt. So I think it was Lord's mercy to come down to Vrindavan and share these pastimes, and since it was the Lord's mercy, he allowed people to see his two-handed form. And the reason why we believe it is confidential is because Krishna himself in multiple verses have said that it is a very confidential form. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Any other doubt? Any other means answers for this question?
Okay, Shri Hari Priya Mataji, you can answer.
Mataji, I'm just trying. What I believe is Arjuna was able to see the two-handed form of Sri Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra because of God's mercy and he being a pure devotee, a higher level of devotee to Sri Krishna. It is only that when you have the Shuddha Satogun, pure bhakti, when it is there and you are in that mode towards Lord, God blesses, and by his mercy, every bhakt can see the two-handed form of Sham Sundar Shri Krishna.
Okay. Now coming to the answer. Actually, I myself, when I was doing Gita 18 course, I was like, I was being the teacher, and I was like, what shall I do? Like, how shall I get the answer? So I myself asked so many devotees. Actually, this was my genuine doubt earlier, but as I got the answer, this transformed into question for you all. So this was a genuine doubt when I got during, because I thought that if they ask this question, what shall I answer? So I was just wondering, and then I was like, I asked so many devotees. So many of the devotees told that, see, first of all, the universal form is temporary. Why it is temporary? Because it's the form through which Lord has come inside this material, means has been in this material universe. So that as this world itself is dukhalayam ashashvatam, this is temporary. Therefore, similarly, the universal form is also temporary. While the form of Shri Krishna, that is the two-handed form, that is completely like that is completely Satchidananda. It's full of bliss, and so therefore now there is one more shloka that I would like to quote in this context. It's from Sri Brahma Samhita, the 30th verse. प्रेमाञ्जनच्छुरितभक्तिविलोचनेन शान्तः सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामसुन्दर अचिन्त्यगुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. So it says that I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyam Sundara, Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their hearts of their hearts, with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. So here, this verse is saying that you need the eyes of devotion which is tinged with love. Then only you can see the actual form of the Lord, the form of the 200 form of the Lord. So in fact, for seeing the 200 form of the Lord, you have to do devotional service. While for universal form, if you are simply given Divya Chakshu, any person, then they can see the universal form. But for this, you have to perform devotional service, and you have to get the eyes of devotion which are tinged with love. So that's why this is more confidential. Okay. Now my second question is that means to Sri Hari Priya Mataji, means doesn't that mean that whatever bad also we are do, so that means we are means even bad also we can consider that we are instruments of the Lord, and He has made us to do bad. And how do we understand this? Because you said we all are means we are instruments of the Lord. So does
Hare
that
Krishna.
mean like if I want to like I smoking and all, that is all, you know, I am just being an instrument of the Lord?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
I'm audible, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. You may continue.
Okay. So, Prabhuji, yeah, definitely, even we ask, even if we do sinful activities, it is not that we are not the instruments in the hand of the God. We are indirectly the instruments in the hand of the God, because we are the instruments in the hand of the Maya, which is ultimately a puppet in the hands of the God. And as Paramatma, because we are his children, and when somebody is crying that I want my this sinful desire to be fulfilled, what happens is it is sanctioned by the Lord, because a person such desires it to be happening. So definitely, whether it is directly or indirectly, because Maya is the energy of God, so we are still a puppet in the hands of the God.
Yes. And whatever we do is sanctioned by the Lord. So now
Yes,
there are
Paramatma.
many, you know, there are many floating concepts about Bhagavad Gita, you know. Many people say that, you know, अगर तुम वो करते हो जो तुम चाहते हो तो होता है वही जो मैं चाहता हूँ. अगर तुम वो करते हो जो अगर तुम वो ही करते हो जो मैं चाहता हूँ तो वही होगा जो तुम चाहते हो. All these floating concepts, you know, you might have heard in serials and all, no?
Cinema, you're very much influenced by them.
No, yeah, people get so much influence, no, that
Yes.
they are like, you know, after this they have like, you know, they have got original Gita Gyan, you know, now Gita Sar, you know, they have, now they don't have to study only Bhagavad Gita. And in fact, one of the devotees, he was like, I am searching for that verse, you know, that which where there is this verse. So now I'm on the 19th chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, great, great. And Prabhuji, as I have mentioned, like according to your question, even if a person is doing all the sinful or the wrong activities as per his choice that he believes, only it is the foolishness on his part, because we have two choices. Either we can serve Krishna or we serve Maya. There is no other third option. So it is only those who are knowledgeable of God and who are in pure devotional service, they understand it to always serve Krishna so that we don't have to serve Maya. We are an eternal servitor of Lord Shri Krishna, as it is always mentioned, like Jiver Sarup Hoye, Krishner Nitya Das.
So see, this is, as logical as, like for example, if you cut all the legs of the ant, okay, and all the legs of the ant, and you are like, chal, move, no, and then you make the conclusion that when the ant loses all its legs, he becomes deaf. It's as illogical as that.
Absolutely correct.
So this is what is the joke. So this floating concept, no, तुम कर्म करते जाओ, फल की चिंता मत करो, and तुम्हें क्या मतलब कि तुम्हारे पास ही क्या है जो तुमने खोया है, and there are such Gita sar, so all these floating concepts of Bhagavad Gita, no, they have been banished by the purports of Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, it is very important for us to read Srila Prabhupada's purports. And every purport we should consider it very, very important. For example, see, you should consider, like, before every purport, write dear your name, for example, dear Het Kathrecha, and then at the end you write your ever well wisher A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Write this and consider it as a personal letter from Srila Prabhupada.
True.
So that's how we should apply and study the purports of Srila Prabhupada. That's what makes the edition of Bhagavad Gita as it is of ISKCON different from, because it has been given purport by a pure devotee. And in fact, Srila Prabhupada says that I don't write these books. Krishna himself comes and dictates me, and that's what I write. And that's why whenever he himself reads the book, because he finds something new. So that's the power of Srila Prabhupada's purport. So therefore, it is very important for us to read and study the purports of Srila Prabhupada. So,
Yes, Prabhuji.
okay. So,
And Shri Hari Priya Mataji, how many rounds are you chanting?
I chant 16 plus, Mataji.
Okay, great. You're comfortable in English, no? And Hindi also.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, thank you.
Mataji is standing on both the cars.
Huh?
No, Mataji is standing on both the cars of Hindi and English.
Yeah. No, I asked for something else.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's really great that Mataji can
Philosophy.
handle both of them.
He has understood the philosophy very nicely.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. It's by Shri Krishna's blessings and all your support. Hey Prabhuji, Shri Lakshmi Mataji, you've given me an opportunity to be here, because whatever doubts, as I mentioned earlier also, by reading in one language, whatever was the concepts which were getting stuck, that how do I understand them more relevantly and in a more proper fashion, it helped me to study in English and get the concept clear.
Yes. Have you taught any batch?
Mataji, I have not taken 18 days classes because I could not conduct those. I was offered, but currently I am taking the revision classes for exam of Hindi level 3, where I'm teaching. I have already taught Ishopnishad, Updeshamrit, and
like Bhakti
now I'm
Vrikshas,
conducting,
no?
Yeah, Mataji. And I'm now conducting NODs.
It's okay. Sure, Mataji. Okay. Thank you.
And don't fall in this prey of, Gita Sar and all, and also save others from this.
Yes, Prabhuji. As I mentioned, let us all choose to serve Krishna rather than serving Maya. That's the best philosophy which I found. It's better to choose the Lord over everything else.
Yes. So, okay. I think it's late anyways right now.
Yes,
but,
Prabhu.
but these two questions were, I thought, out of all the questions, I thought these two questions were the questions which had, most, thinking, and, it increases the. So therefore, I only chose to do these two questions. Yes. So I hope you all enjoyed. So,
Yes, Prabhuji.
yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
And
Krishna.
tomorrow is Ekadashi, Amalaki Ekadashi.
Yes, Mataji. We all are fasting.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Very
also
nice.
for Gaur Purnima. That is,
Yes.
yeah, that
Yeah.
you
For
will
that we are
fast, I
visiting
know.
the temple.
Yeah, but yeah, the temple program you may attend. You should attend, so that.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. We attended
Yeah, and
in
all
Delhi actually. We also
Yeah.
visit the ISKCON temples which are locally situated here.
Yeah, even
For
that is
Gaur
good.
Purnima.
And in fact, if possible, you can even join physically. Maybe
Yes,
Mama
Prabhuji.
could join.
Yes. We will definitely join this time after 2 years post Corona. I'm thinking that we'll definitely visit the temple ISKCON here local in Delhi.
Oh yeah, sure, Mataji.
Oh, okay. आप तो वृंदावन यात्रा की बात करें. कैसे
No.
ज्यादा नहीं चला. Okay, yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा
Vasindhubhye
सिन्धुभ्येव पतितानां पावने
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavi.
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
Jai.
शिला प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
हरे कृष्णा हरि बोल.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hari
everyone.
Bol.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण.